everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and on today's episode, I'm freezing cold. Also, we will be talking about the Netflix show American Vandal, which premiered quite a while ago, never got around to it. I watched the trailer, really liked it, and thought, yeah, I should watch that. Never did, but I finally did, so there's that. Now, if you don't know what American Vandal is, because most people do not know what the show is, it's basically a mockumentary that is spoofing the sort of making a murder, serial, true crime documentaries that we have been getting that are so increasingly more and more popular. And it follows around this sophomore in high school who decides to kind of make this documentary about what's going on in his school, where a student gets expelled for drawing a whole bunch of phallic images on the teacher's cars. And the entire documentary is about him either trying to prove that Dylan, the kid who got expelled, did it or didn't do it, and figuring out who did, and kind of exposing all of these little things that are going on in his high school, and having like this cast of characters that are like really intriguing. You always want to know a little bit more about than you're actually getting. And this is a very smart spoof. And spoof movies, spoof TV is very hard to do. I don't remember the last time a funny spoof movie came out. I mean, you have the Airplanes, you have like the first couple scary movies, and since then, pretty much nothing. But this is kind of a return to form when it comes to spoof movies or spoof TV. And what this show does really well is it takes this really dumb premise of a show where you say a whole bunch of phallic images and you're showing how to draw, like, different ways to draw a phallic image. I'm just saying all this so that way I don't get demonetized. Anyway, and they do it uber seriously. Like, they're legitimately trying to figure out this crime. And there's parts of it that are like, there's some characters in the show that are just like, yeah, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? And, like, it's kind of funny. But then the guy who we're following to try the sort of mockumentarian is just so uber serious about figuring out what's going on, and he just has this inkling that Dylan is not responsible and that this whole thing is like a cover-up of some sort. And it's super fun. Like, every episode they're uncovering something a little bit different. Like one episode's like, hey, maybe the teachers got it out for this person, or the next one is like, oh, maybe it's student body president, maybe it's the girlfriend, maybe it is actually Dylan who did this, is it the parents? Like, there's so many things that come unraveled throughout this entire series. And what's amazing is that it never loses the funny. Like, it just ups the ante on the funny. And especially where your premise of the show is phallic images, I mean, that can get tiring really fast, but they add so much to it, and you actually start to care about these characters. Like, Dylan is such like a dumb character, but he's also like slightly endearing, and like his, like, the Wayback Bros, like his friends group that he is in, like, everyone knows a group like that, whether you were in the group or whether you just knew the group, whether you're friends with the group, but not like necessarily, you know, attached to it. Like, everyone knows that group of people, especially in high school. And while you kind of laugh at them a little bit, you also, like, they show great friendship to each other. Like, I really appreciate that. And then you have like this sort of Dylan having this sort of puppy love with his girlfriend, and that's super sweet. And then you have this sort of also like romantic storyline that like doesn't fully really like necessarily amount to anything at the end, or you don't even know if it's like a real storyline of this, like, of the partner in crime to the mockumentary, the guy who's making the documentary, I'll just start saying, he has this sort of like, he has his best friend who's kind of like, she kind of helps him out. She can drive, so she drives them places. And she's kind of involved quite heavily in the series. And there's this whole thing about, like, maybe he is in love with her, but she has a boyfriend. So, like, there's this weird love triangle that you don't even know is a real love triangle. Like, you don't know if it's actually, like, he actually does like her. Like, you kind of figure it out towards the end, but, like, nothing is, like, explicit. Like, nothing's actually telling you to your face. And that's what they do in this whole series, is nothing is ever for sure. Like, they give you those hints. It's very Serial-esque. Like, there's a whole, like, if you ever listened to Serial, it was all about never finding out the truth of what happened. And that's kind of what happens in this mockumentary. And it was genius. Like, the way that they did it. It's just genius. And it's an easy 8 episodes, 30 minutes, so it's a 4-hour watch. Like, this is an easy thing to binge. And we're getting a second season that is sort of It's supposed to be kind of like how they do American Horror Story, where I think they're going to have some of the same actors, but it's going to be set in a different place, like a different school, and they're doing a different crime, and it's different characters, except for the two main ones apparently are the same characters, just in a different setting. So I don't know exactly how they're doing that, but I heard that it's already written and they're shooting it, and it should be out early 2018, which I'm very excited for the turnaround on that. And also, this is produced by Funny or Die, which Funny or Die is hit or miss for sure, but their hits are big hits, and this is right in line with that. Like, I can totally see the Funny or Die humor in this, how it's so uber serious. I love stuff like that. I love it when people are taking like really dumb things super seriously. And I think the best part of this series is actually the last episode, where the last episode is not necessarily like super funny, but it's really got a lot of heart to it. Like, surprisingly, there's a lot of feeling to the end of this series that like it really kind of can resonate with anybody when it comes to kind of like feeling like your life doesn't matter, especially when something like college ends or high school ends or some major part of something you've been doing for a long time ends, and you're just like, what do I do now? Especially when it comes to Dylan, it's just like, you know, realizing that people might not think about you the way that you think, you know, the perception of you is like way different, and kind of figuring out like who's your real friends and all these things that actually matter in life. And it's surprising just how like good that last episode is. And the show also gives you a funny ending, and you pretty much know who drew the phallic images, but it's never fully confirmed, and I like that. I like having this idea of having all of these loose threads and kind of like picking up the pieces by yourself. Also, something that this show did very, very well that a lot of movies and TV shows don't necessarily get well is social media. Like, they added in the fact that this 8-part documentary that he's posting online while he's doing it is getting viral hits. Like, it's become a huge thing, like a Twitter campaign, and they actually do it very well, and they do it just exactly how it would happen in real life. And it's something that a lot of things don't do right. Like the movie The Duff. The Duff is a perfectly fine movie, but I hated the use of social media and the sort of like text talk era that we're in, where like, I'm gonna unfollow you on Facebook, and I'm not going to like any of your Instagram pics and stuff like that. It's just like, it's so unbelievable. Like, that's not actually how people talk. It's not. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe the younger generation does, but no one even close to my age talks like that. And we actually grew up when it was invented. So that's a huge plus on American Vandal, is that it actually got today's society like right. And this is a show that I would recommend to pretty much anyone my age, maybe a little bit older, depending on your type of humor, I would say. I probably would not suggest this to my mom or some of my family members, not even because of the phallic imagery, but just because it's such it feels like a niche type of humor, especially if you're really into true crime. I would actually suggest this because it just mocks that whole thing and why people are interested in true crime. And I mean, I've already recommended it to a lot of people because I want to talk to people about it. Nobody's watched this show. Like, I think people have watched it and got pretty good reviews, but like nobody has actually watched the show. And it's so sad. I want more people to watch it. I want you guys to check it out. Even if you check out a couple episodes, kind of come back, tell me what you're thinking about this in the comments, because I really, really enjoyed it. And maybe it's just my niche type of humor that is coming through in this whole series. But I am very, very excited about season 2 of this. I'm excited to see where they go, if they can live up to season 1, if they could surpass season 1. Who knows? I don't. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your thoughts on American Vandal. If you've watched a couple of episodes, come back here. I'd like to talk to people about it. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday. Usually I miss Friday, but hey, we're getting there. Also, this week is going to be an exciting one. We've got, of course, The Gifted and Riverdale, but I'm watching The Room this week, which, if you don't know, is supposed to be the best, worst film ever made, and I'm very, very excited. I tried going to one of those theater showings that they do, but I had just missed a whole weekend verse. So I will be watching that. You'll probably get that like later on in the week. I'm going to watch Disaster Artist probably next week, so we can get like a sort of double review of those two things. Very excited to see the worst the best worst movie ever made, because that's right up my alley. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.